Welcome to the show.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me, brother. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Where have you been for the last 4 years? You've been jumping out of helicopters and fighting fires and what have you been doing?
Well, I did that last year. Well, I guess this year I did that. But I just do me. I'm out there running, working out, and just trying to find out more of what this is all about, trying to find out more what I'm all about. So that takes me getting away. I'm not about even doing these podcasts, man. So nothing against you, but I'm not about all this stuff. I'm not one that likes to hear himself talk a lot. I'm about action, and action means less talking and more doing. So that's where I've been.
What is that smoke jumping stuff?
So basically, it's about wildland firefighting, about when the forest has fires. There's a lot of times there's roads and there's access to get there. So these, whether it be a hotshot crew or whatever, these different crews who come in by vehicle, they can get into the fire that way. What a smoke jumper is you can't get a vehicle into that place. It is a spot where it's tight. There's no vehicles, there's no access. So they'll send us in there, smoke jumpers, jump out of airplanes, and we'll land in these really tight, small drop zones with all of our gear, and we'll put the fire out.
How do you take water in?
We jump out. So everything is...
Hang on. You're jumping out of a...
airplane, parachute.
With backpacks of water, like a camel pack type thing?
So we'll jump out. We'll have this, it's called a ditty pack. And it sits in, it sits like by your waist,
Yep.
on your legs area when you jump out. And that has a lot of your gear. But what happens is once you jump out, the aircraft will go lower and will push out all the rest of your gear, your water pumps.
Oh, and that'll get airdropped in with its own little parachutes.
Right.
Got you.
So a lot of our main gear gets dropped into us. And then we're out there for several days until the fire is put out by us and only us.
That's insane.
It's insane, yeah.
Why do you do that?
Well, when I left the military, I'm always looking for more. I'm always looking for what's the next thing for myself. How can I grow? And that right there was the next thing for me. I didn't want to sit back and, just enjoy my retirement from the military. There's no growth in that. So I decided to go out and do this. So
you jump out of an airplane with a team. You get your kit also parachuted out of the back. Mm-hmm. You're now in the middle of an area where there's no evac, there's no vehicles that can come and get you. Mm-hmm. There's a fire. Mm-hmm. You need to put the fire out, and you don't stop until you're done.
That's it. Sometimes there is a way to get out, but a lot of times it's just, if someone gets hurt on the jump, a lot of times we have to build, like cut down a bunch of trees so a helicopter can come in, land, and get them out. So we are the only access. We have to save ourselves. So a lot of times we are the team to get us in and to get us out.
What was the longest mission exercise that you did?
I think the longest one I did was 7 days. So. And
what's the sort of daily routine? Are you sleeping? Do you get much sleep at all?
No, not really. So what happens is, and the thing about being in Canada, so I do this out of British Columbia. So what happens is there's a lot of daylight. When I'm out there, man, there's a lot of daylight.
In the middle of the summer when it's hottest, when you've got tons of, okay.
That's right. So there's not much dark. So you're basically working a lot of hours. So, and then when it gets dark, you're actually working through the nighttime. And then you get a little rest and you wake up and you're at it again. And then when the fire's out, you patrol the fire, make sure there's no more hot spots, make sure everything is black and wet, because we literally wet the whole area down. So there's no hot spots. And then when that's all done, we'll demob, which means we'll clean up all the stuff, all our hoses, we'll pack up all our stuff, and then we'll get out of there.
Did you ask to be paid for this?
I get about, I think the pay is about $12 to $15 an hour. So, and what's funny about it, man, like when I first started doing this job, people didn't know that, I'm actually successful in business, and didn't realize that I was like basically turned down millions of dollars to do this job, and they can continue thinking it
to make $15 an hour.
To make $15 an hour. So yeah, but like I said, for me, the whole money part of it, it's not what it's about. I'm all about that growth, and that growth isn't in these massive paychecks for speaking to corporations, stuff like that. The growth for me is in that $12 to $15 an hour when you're out there and it's like 20 degrees and you're freezing your ass off and you're thinking, you know what? I don't need to be here anymore. And you start questioning yourself why you're here. And there's a lot of growth in that.
Why did you decide to release another book? What was undone with the first one?
Well, the first one was basically a bachelor's degree with the mind, is how I look at it. And no one knew who I was. So this is the book, Never Finished is the book that I wanted to come out first. But how am I going to get so deep into something when no one knows who the hell I am? So first, I have to give you some backstory on who the hell David Goggins is.
Some credentials.
That's it. And so I got some basic credentials out there. And now I can dive in more because most people think I'm just some animal who runs and yells and just says fuck and motherfuck all the time. And that's nowhere near the truth. That's maybe what they see in a 1 minute video, and that's what people believe. But there's a lot of thought behind a person being a born loser, becoming who I am today. You don't just wake up and just rocky the shit. You got to wake up and think about, there's a process to getting better. And that process is never finished.
It's an appropriate title. Yeah. So one of the things that I've been thinking about is the danger of success making you soft. Mm-hmm. And this must be something that you've battled with over the last few years.
Right.
More money, more attention, more fame, more free things if you wanted, more opportunities to go places and do stuff with people.
Right.
How have you dealt with this battle of success not making you soft?
You have to cap it. You have to learn to cap success. So what I do is, like right now, I don't like doing podcasts. There's a lot of things I don't do that I have to do now to get the message out there to help people out. And what I mean by capping success, I believe everybody should live their life. So everything that someone says in life, take it with a grain of salt. Take what they give and don't be like, oh, David Goggins said this or whoever said this. No, do not take what I say and do exactly what I say. So for me, what makes me who I am, because my mission is very different than yours or anybody else's. I have to go into a situation knowing, okay, I'm a guy who wants to make people better. For people to get better, I have to continuously get better myself. For me to do that, I can't just say, oh, I have this resume. The resume is there forever. I'm good. I have to cap my success because for me to help people out, I can't just say I did it once and I'm good. I have to continue to reinvent the wheel of the mind and figure out more and more ways for you to pull. Because if I have a cookie cutter message, it may hit 5 people out of 25. You just failed. My message needs to be in a way where I can hit all 25 people. It needs to be broad enough to where all 25 people may not like the message, but they're getting something from it. And that is evolution. You must continue to evolve. And you don't evolve, for me, in my job, unless I cap myself somewhere and say, okay, you made this much money, get back to fucking work. It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the fucking noise. Get back to the fucking mental lab, because that's where the knowledge came from. So for me, I must cap myself so I can come back with better, more unique knowledge versus all that cookie cutter knowledge that's out there. That's why people buy the books I have, because it's not cookie cutter. It's real knowledge.